Alright, hey everyone. Noah Walker here with my Legacy Series Accumulated Knowledge, playing Grixis Delver against my friend Kevin King, playing Lance for Team Cardhoarder. This is our third match, and I am going to play first, pretty happily. Alright, well, at least this hand is super easy to mulligan. Doesn't have any lands at all. Not even particularly close upkeep. If it had one land though, ooh, like a fetch land or something, ooh, this hand would be juicy. Because then we could pay 2 for the probe, Cabal Therapy him, have a day's backup. This hand would just be all sorts of juicy. So I'm just going to mulligan. This hand's okay. I'm not like thrilled with it or anything, but I think it's a keep, so I'm going to keep it. If there's like a spell on top too, then we can set up the Delver for flipping, but never that lucky, so we're just going to put it on bottom. I think though still I'm going to lead off with the Trop and then the Delver, just so that we can next turn brainstorm, fetch away with the Delta. And if we flip with something like Probe, oh gosh, that would be perfect. Because then we can play the brainstorm, or we might even play the Probe first, so that we're one card deeper. Play the Probe, play the brainstorm, fetch away with the Delta, then therapy. It would be the ideal. It would be basically the nut. But Mox Diamond, that's all right. What ills? Fetch, okay. Probably getting loamed, which isn't great for us, but maybe it's a fire. Ooh, that's pretty bad for us though. Especially if he has the loam too. Then it's just like, all right, we're gonna brainstorm here, just because our hand is a whole lot of nothing. So I think we have to start getting something going. Since I know he's on lands, we can happily shuffle away the Dismember and one of these lands. I think here I'm going to fetch up Volk first before I get the C, just in case we draw a young Pyromancer. Oh hey, look, it's a young Pyromancer. So, I don't know if it's worth it to draw the young Pyromancer because it's also paired up with a land, but maybe because it's a fetch and we don't really have, we don't have infinite lands in this matchup. Then maybe it's okay. Then maybe it's okay to keep these. I think the young Pyromancer plus the therapy is like super duper powerful, but also his deck doesn't play a lot of cards that we can actually hit with a therapy. Like I find it hard to believe that his hand is like 2 cards that we could hit with therapy, flashback therapy, or even 1. It's like kind of stretching it, but we don't really have any threats, so I think it's okay to want to not shuffle this. Could be wrong. Could just lose us the game because we're so flooded on lands. But I think a lot of the times the lands player takes the role of, okay, I have to shut off all of Delver's resources. I'm going to wasteland them, loam, wasteland them, and just that's how they get far ahead. So, okay, ended up all right. Got to fetch, crack it. See, gonna play Young Pyromancer. So the card that I'm gonna name first with Cabal Therapy is Crop Rotation, because Crop Rotation is a card that he wouldn't necessarily want to cast early because he doesn't know exactly what he wants to get with it. So like this is a time where he would cast it in response, because that's obviously something I would name as he forced Crop Rotations, of course. So that makes a lot of sense. He's just gonna get a Dark Depths and kill us more than likely. I suppose I'll name. I guess it doesn't really matter what I name at this point. Oh, jeez. So it really doesn't matter what I name because he just killed all our stuff. But we do get to find out what we're dying to. I suppose I'll name Loam. Life from Loam. Alright, so Wasteland. So yeah, we are super dead. There wasn't a whole lot we could do about this draw. Him just murdering us. I guess like if we had Wasteland up, then we would be okay, because that way we could like make him not make a 2020 on us. But he's just gonna happily tap out for a 2020 here, and we are dead. All right, I guess I'll play out like one more draw step, but we don't have any outs in our main deck to a 2020. I don't even think we have any outs in our sideboard to a 2020 being made, so we are just super dead. Drew days, concede game. All right, so that's how the matchup generally plays out. We like play a couple spells that don't really matter. they kill it with all their cards that line up perfectly, and they make it 20/20, and we're dead. But, you know, definitely gets a little better post board because we have some cards that are better than like Dismember and like Cabal Therapy and stuff. But it's definitely not insane. Let's move on to game 2. Just gonna bring in the same cards that I have been bringing in and that I usually bring in this matchup, which are the Engineered Explosives, the Pithing Needle, Ancient Grudge, Sulfuric Vortex, and the Surgical Extractions. And I'm going to board out the Cabal Therapies and the Dismember. And I've been taking out the Spell Pierce. I think that's been pretty fine. Daze has been putting in a lot of work, actually, but I still don't think it's insane in this matchup. So taking out a couple is definitely right. So just going to do that. Those 6 for these 6, and fire up game 2. Alright, yes, I would love to play first. Thank you, Moto. This hand is pretty awful, actually. It's like good that it has turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, so it'd be good if he has like not a Punishing Fire and not much else, but just Force of Will and no other blue card makes this hand much worse. If this was a Daze, though, actually, I think this hand would be a Snap Keep, because then we have Deathrite Shaman on the play, be able to Daze a Loam or something if he played it, or like a Punishing Fire, then eat it. But it's a Force, and we don't have any other blue card, so it's a mulligan. Ooh, and this hand sucks too. That's perfect. So yeah, we just don't have, you know, anything that we can cast, so it's just another mulligan. Oh, this 5 is actually great, though, so we can keep that. Ooh, Surgical Extraction. Top. And we can actually draw it, too, before we fetch with the Deathrite Shaman, so pay 2 with the Probe. Ooh. So his hand is... I'm not going to say it's risky or anything, because it's not very risky, but it's not insane. Gamble. Diamond. Grove. Forest. Port X2. Stage. So I'll probably end up just like casting Gamble for what's it called? Punishing Fire. Kill our Deathrite Shaman. Luckily we have Surgical Extraction for it. I'm just gonna get C because he doesn't have a Wasteland, and black is much more important than green. Green only flashes back Ancient Grudge and uses the creature ability for Deathrite, so it's not really, you know, essential for this deck. So normally you just fetch up a C or fetch up a Volk, and here it's clearly a C because we had to cast the Deathrite. Forest. Monk's Diamond, so he can play around us possibly having Daze. Discards Port. Gambles, okay. Let's get the fire in the yard one time. Ooh, so Crop Rotation was the card that he drew, I assume. Unless he was just going for an early, like, I don't know, killing of Deathrite. So if we draw land here, we're actually, ooh, that's such a good draw. Because now we can just cast the Vendilion Click. I assume that he got a spell off of the gamble and just drew Crop Rotation for turn. So I assume that he got Punishing Fire, which we're going to get right now with the Vendilion Click. And then, yeah, so exactly that happened. Oh, I should have... Oh, he just knows whole hand. It's Port, because he discarded one of them. Stage. Port, Stage. Actually, we don't know. Gamble. He played the Forest. So I guess we just know 2 of his cards. Port, Stage. A couple blanks. Or we should know 3, but I just clicked past his hand too fast when we saw it with click. So, but it was all lands. In the fire, so definitely going all right for a mulligan to 5. In fact, going fantastically for a mulligan to 5. We have one of the most important cards in the matchup in our hand, Surgical. Already have a Deathrite in play, and a Black Source, and a Wasteland. So he can't kill us with Thespian Stage here, because we can just Wasteland in response. Exploration is fine. So yeah, for Mogan 5, actually this hand was about as good as we could have asked for. It had a turn 1 Deathrite Shaman. We had information on his hand to like decide if, we possibly wanted to do something differently. So just working out pretty perfectly. So he played Stage Port. I think that he's played all of the cards that we knew about. Oh, he has a Grove. That's what he has. And one card that we don't know about. Okay. So I'm considering casting one of these cards, but I just don't think it's very worth it. I think it's just better to keep up the 4-turn clock with Deathrite and click here, just because he can't really do too much about our stuff. I'm surprised end of turn he didn't port Waste or our Tabernacle. That card's really good. I think I'm going to Wasteland it. Enter and exile the crop rotation, and I'm just gonna so if I Wasteland the Tabernacle, he Thespian Stage becomes a copy of Tabernacle. Upkeep, we can still pay for our stuff, but we make him, use all his shit. So it's probably the best play we can make here. Kill Tabernacle. He's like, hey, look at this Thespian Stage. It's now a Tabernacle. That could have been a reason to maybe save the Wasteland, but I think that this is totally fine. And then we can just pay for our stuff with upkeep. Exile that. For blue. Pay 1. Pay 1. Boom, get to keep all of our creatures. Now we're on this slow and steady 5-turn grind with the click, but actually there's not a whole lot he can do about it. Or that's not really true. He can just draw like a Punishing Fire and just kill our guys, but another Thespian Stage, not great for him. As soon as we draw land, we can start oh no. So I made a mistake. I didn't exile a land for mana first. So clicked past it. Now it's time to pay for Deathrite, and it dies. I guess that's not something I want to auto yield to. I don't think it makes like the hugest difference, because like Deathrite was just paying for itself. So until we drew another land, it wasn't like Deathrite was doing all that much. But boom, stage that forest. Whew. We're running hot here. He's just drawing a whole lot of nothing. So I guess that Tabernacle is not something that we want to auto yield to in the future, because that means that it will just go straight to the ability. Okay, K-Grip. Perfect. Three-turn clock. K-Grip is all he has. And in comes the click that won't stop. So this might seem like a crazy play, but on his draw step, I'm going to Surgical Extraction the Gamble, because Gamble's like one of the draws that is actually we're pretty weak to. Like, we're also pretty weak to Punishing Fire, but that's not something that we're ever really going to be able to Surgical Extraction. So, actually, is that even true that we're not ever going to be able to Surgical Extraction that? No, that's probably not true. Huh. So that's probably a pretty loose play. I'm not going to Surgical Extraction the Gamble. But if he draws a Gamble, I'm going to feel pretty dumb. If you draw something like a wasteland, then we're just dead, you know? Wasteland or land. Tabernacle, you lose. Force of Will is a great draw. Because now, if he draws any spell next turn, like a drop rotation, anything like that, anything that isn't just a land that kills us, then we have the force to get him. So for a mulligan to 5, this game ended up pretty great. I think mostly just because he bricked on drawing any relevant spell for a lot of turns. And we were just able to... Thespian Stage, Tabernacle. Okay. Loam Thespian Stage. I don't think that does anything. But just in case, I guess I could have Surgical Extraction. Yeah, so he just drew a bunch of do-nothings, literally for 4-ish turns. Whereas if he had drawn one thing that was good, he could... oh, he was demonstrating a glitch for us, so... Ooh, Thespian Stage having a force on... I don't know what glitch he was demonstrating. Card still reads as force in the bin. I suppose that's kind of true, because you can see the green on it. But, not really relevant. Turns out that our mulligan to 5 was, like, perfect. Had Deathrite Shaman into top deck a land, specifically a wasteland, to click. Got rid of the Punishing Fire. Got pretty lucky for the rest of the game. So let's move on to game 3, and hopefully we can sweep this noob over here. Because this matchup, you know, it sucks. But we've been drawing really great, and he's been drawing kind of poopy. So that's how you win this matchup. Basically 101. Take it from me. Draw well, and you'll win. I think that we boarded pretty well, though. I don't think I want, like... Days is, like, not great, but I think 2 is, like, fine. All these cards are pretty mediocre. Submit. Let's keep going. Game 3. This hand is not particularly great, but it might be a keep. Has a Force of Will, which is great. Has a Wasteland, which is okay. Well, pretty great, but like in this hand, it's not like we're applying pressure first, so the Wasteland isn't, you know, all that. He kept his 7 pretty quickly too. His hand must be great. I'm just gonna keep. I think it stands okay. I don't really want to mulligan to 6 in this matchup because I don't really know what 6 I'm expecting to be all that much better than this 7, and we have a good bit of information. So leads off with Mox Diamond. So a lot of the time I'll do something like Days Mox Diamond, but I don't know that it's worth it to force affiliate here. So I'm just gonna play might be a little strange, but I'm just gonna keep the forces here. Loam Thicket. Okay. Definitely not countering that. Maybe our probe will get us into a surgical extraction. That'd be pretty sick. Having the probe here, actually to know what's in his hand is kind of important. Oh, maybe we'll just draw surgical extraction straight up like that. So that's the way you get him. You channel surgical extraction onto the top of your deck. Switch on his hand. Thicket. Taiga. Gamble. Rotation. Okay. That card's pretty good, actually. Just gonna play this. See, Ponder. 3 cards that we do not want. Yes, I'd like shuffle. Surgical extraction, your life from the loam. Loam. Alright, 4 removed. Perfect. Take a look at his deck. Basically everything that we would expect. Fire, steps, stuff like that. So basically here we're just kind of hoping what can kill us. Nothing can really kill us from this game state, you know. I think if you cast Gamble, it might even forcible it. It might even pitch the other force. I kind of want to keep the Brainstorm, make this hand a little bit better, be able to kill him. Because his hand is a lot of nothing, you know. Unless he draws like natural combo is his best way to kill us from this point. Or like set up Punishing Fire to kill all our guys. So here we're hoping to find like a Gurmag Angler, or just like that he doesn't have Wasteland, more or less. So this is fine. For a pretty unimpressive keep, I think we got super lucky with drawing Surgical there. So he just plays the Thicket and Crop Rotation the Thicket. I think it's more important to counter Gamble here than Crop Rotation. Thespian Stage. Oh no. Hopefully he doesn't have Dark Depths. I guess next turn he can gamble for the Dark Depths, so. Upkeep, port us. Huh. Do I want to use Brainstorm here? No, I don't want to use Brainstorm. That's fine. You can port. What did he port? Nothing. Alright, I'm just going to pretend he ported this, because that's just too much for me. Play a Wasteland, pass. Oh, it's a Dark Depths. So he's Thespian staging the port, which is not what I think he meant to do. So, you know, while I'm playing against lands, I'm gonna pretend that he targeted Dark Depths, and I just want to learn a little bit more about lands because I think I'm pretty familiar with how to play against lands matchup. But I'm just gonna ask that if he copies the Dark Depths, and then Legendary Trigger goes on the stack, or I guess it doesn't even go on the stack. Legend Trigger, he sacrifices the Dark Depths with the counters on it. So let's say you copied Depths. If I respond, if I let you, do I have a chance to respond to the 2020? I think that I don't have a chance to respond to 2020. I don't know. I've had judges just tell me like mixed things, so I almost always just Wasteland in response to them trying to make it a copy of the Dark Depths. I'm going to see what he says because I'm not positive on this one, and I think he made a little misclick and targeted the port instead of the Depths. But I assume. Assuming no, but not sure. I feel like this is just something I should know, though. I play against lands a good bit, and I don't know. Maybe judges are just bad at telling me what is supposed to be right, but I don't know. Cabin, answer me. Where have you gone? Alright, I'm just gonna Wasteland the stage. And he'll get back to me later, I suppose. He is just not telling me what happened here. Um, but this is fine. He has no loams left in his deck, which is super fortunate for us. Got Force of Will. Next turn we can brainstorm, fetch away some stuff that we don't want. Trigger goes on stack, has an if you do clause. Which means, so nah, you could have gotten the twofer. You tried to copy. Yeah, so I could have gotten the 2-for-1 with the death right there, but this is just totally fine too. Or sorry, not with the death right, with the wasteland there. But this is totally okay. All right, death right, come on. Yeah, it's true. But it's not Moto's fault, it's your fault. But you know, it happens. So, just kind of hoping that he doesn't natural kill us, make 2020, you're dead. I have to Force of Will this card. I think I'm just going to pitch Force of Will, because Brainstorm is much more valuable as the only card that's blue in my hand than a Force of Will, so. So this is looking quite fine. Mostly that he just doesn't have, anything to do. Board us. I'm just gonna let that happen and then use the Deathrite Shaman to exile Thespian Stage and then crack the fetch. Because I want to get one card deeper, pretty much. Ooh. Exile Stage for a blue, cast Brainstorm. So we have Grudge, which is okay. Doesn't do a whole lot right here. Delver, click, Bolt. Huh. My question is, what are the worst cards here? Because we get to shuffle away 2 of these. So I think what I want to do is keep the Underground Seed so that we can cast Young Power Mans for this turn. But the real question here is, do we keep the Delver or the Ancient Grudge? I think I'm definitely going to shuffle away the Lightning Bolt. It doesn't do a whole lot here. We're not just going to kill him with it. It would take a really long time. So I think that's an easy one to shuffle away. But the second card is like not the easiest. I think just because his deck plays well, he has the Mox Diamond in play. He plays Chalice of the Void. Delver is a much better clock, though. It could just be right to keep the Delver. I don't know. I suppose it's... Yeah, I'll keep the Grudge. I'm not convinced that was correct, but I think that is what I'm going to do. And just ship back. Not a whole lot to be done here. I have a feeling we're just going to die to some random 2020, but, such is life. Probably going to end up grudging the diamond, actually, if we get the chance. Fire. That's fine. AKA nothing I can do about it. Okay. Ponder is a great draw. I'm actually going to use the Volcanic Island to cast the Ponder, because we're going to want to use the Deathrite Shaman on Punishing Fire right now, just in case he draws a Grove or something. And also, if we draw a Gurmag Angler, we're going to just want to jam it immediately. So I'm going to use the Volcanic Island for this Ponder. Even though we have the Grudge, and we could want to use it on something like the Mox Diamond, I think that we're just going to end up using the Deathrite here for the Punishing Fire, so a pretty straightforward turn. I don't really know what he's doing. Taiga. Man, this match has been playing out much better than it usually feels in paper. You know, I think that Grixis has a lot of good tools, but like the matchup is just rough. Ooh. All right. What's going on? Draw step, apparently, still. Maybe Kevin's doing something. No, I don't know. I'm just trying to cast a Ponder, bro. Just let me Ponder. Maybe we'll even get lucky and hit a Gurmag Angler. Who knows? You never know. All right. Boom. Went through that draw step. Ponder. Come on, Gurmag. Ooh, okay, so there's another Surgical Extraction. I don't think that's worth it to keep, though. I don't know. Maybe it is. What could he really have in his hand? That's the question, I guess. It's good if he has something like Boil and he's waiting for another land. If we keep these cards, because then we could keep the Delta, use it to fetch for Grudge his Diamond, and eat the Punishing Fire. But if he doesn't have something like Boil, then that's pretty loose. And I don't know if just Surgical Extraction is good enough here. You know, we don't really have anything great to remove. And we have Deathrite Shaman to keep all of the cards that we could possibly remove in check. So I think I'm just going to shuffle these. Ooh, we got rewarded with a nice little threat. So eat the fire, play Delver. Ooh, not black mana. We need blue mana for Delver. Delver and Ship. Here we're just hoping basically he doesn't draw a Gamble or a Crop Rotation or a Thespian Stage. Mazevith, also a pretty good one. Not quite as good as the other cards that just kill us. Not going to reveal Volk. But I am going to play Volk and set a stop on his draw step. Because I could have attacked with Delver, you know, to jump check him. But the reason that we are playing the Volk rather than saving it for something like a Brainstorm is because if he draws Gamble, then we can just die to it. And we want to be able to make that not happen. So click on your draw step, target you. Take a look at what's in that hand. Okay. Frozen Grip, Mox Diamond, Grove of the Burn Wolves. I would not like to take any of those cards because they are pretty much useless currently, so. If we could take the Grove, maybe I would consider it. But I don't even think that's very true. Because it gives him a whole new card, so. We're in a pretty commanding position here, though, because his hand is air. And if the Delver flips, then we're just clocking in for a good bit, so. Alright, second Deathrite Shaman isn't horrible either, though. So, here we get in for 1 damage with the Delver, play a second Deathrite, and start shipping. Alright, we'll get the gamble now, then. And I'm just going to fire this off on the Mox Diamond now, too, actually. Give him a little less sources to work with. Float that green, Kevin. Float it. can't do anything because we know his hand. It does not contain something to do for a green mana right now. So game looking pretty great for us. In there for one. Play a second Deathrite Shaman and ship. A card that would be horrible for us still, though, is something like Boil. Luckily, he only has one land, so he can't actually cast the Boil. But or here, even Punishing Fire, bring it back with Grove is like a little troublesome. So, all right, Delver flip. Then we can start getting in for 3. Strand. That's not flipping. My Strand. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep removing stuff because it's more damage that way. So definitely gonna play the Strand here because once the Delver trigger happens, we can shuffle it away if it's bad, and just stuff like that. So definitely better to have the Strand in play right now than not. He drew a card. Not really sure what it is. Hopefully it doesn't make 2020s happen, because that would be sad. But that's all that really can, make us not win at this point is, a little misclick at the end of turn by not removing with Deathrite Shaman. Another Flooded Strand. I'm just going to stop on the upkeep, say no, so that we can pop the Strand. Luckily, it wasn't a huge deal that we didn't remove end of turn. It doesn't change the clock all that much. Because we still have 5 and then 5 again. But it could matter a lot. So that's definitely not great to do. And in the future, not something I'm really trying to do. So, but happens. Sometimes you misclick. But still in a very commanding position, especially since he's not casting any spells. His hand can't be fantastic. Ooh, that's a fantastic draw though. Because now even if he draws 2020 Maker, then can't do anything with it. Actually, I'm just gonna name Maze here. Ooh. Maze of Ith, because now we can get in for 4. We would actually have lethal with that draw if we had used the Deathrite Shaman. But it happens. I still don't think he has like very, very many, if any, outs at this point. So just use Deathrite Shaman twice, get him. Chalice for 0. Turns out that was his draw. What's this? Crows and Grip It. Wow. Doesn't even want a Crows and Grip or Pith Needle. Oh, and cast Monk's Diamond. So now he's just showing off at this point. All his lands. Okay. So we won again. I'm surprised that we did so well against Lance. I think that our draws were definitely way above average. I think that the misclicks, definitely swung the games in our favor a lot. And again, it's by no stretch of the imagination is this matchup impossible to win. But if I had to choose a deck that I didn't want to play against like every round, it would be Lands, just because their cards line up so well, especially an experienced Lands player like Kevin. Kevin's really great at the Lands deck. It might seem like oh, he's not the best because sometimes I don't think he's as used to the Moto client, so he's just not great with it on Moto right now. But he's a really good Lands player. So like if I had to play, like I would not want to play against Kevin in real life in a Legacy tournament, because this matchup is just not great. So pretty fortunate to have won these matches. Played pretty well. Drew 10 times better than we played. So that's what it really takes. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.